Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? You can use the chat directly. We already have more than 70 people connected. Thank you, everyone, to be on time. Today is going to be a very technical webinar on GEO. We're really happy to do this session in English. There are some new stuff that you can use for this webinar. You can actually activate the captions. So the captions will help you to have what I say subtitled in your language. So we have people from Spain, from Italy, from Portugal, from Mexico, from Germany, from all around the world, and you speak different languages. So you can activate the caption functionality. Can someone try to activate that functionality and tell me if it's working on your side? So I'll keep speaking so that we make sure that this new thing is working perfectly. Because I know some of you said that we should do a webinar in each languages, but unfortunately I speak only English and French, so we do it mainly in these languages, but all the team at Partout can also help you navigate these topics in your native language. So we'll be talking for an hour about the fundamentals of GEO today. It's going to be a bit more technical than the previous webinars, but I'll try to make it simple as I can. And before running into the slides, I'm going to briefly introduce myself. It's already 10:03, so let's start. You're already 100 people connected. Thank you so much to attend these webinars, and let's go. So to introduce briefly myself, I'm Thibaut Renouf. I'm the CEO of Partout, and for the past 4 years, I've tried to better understand how AI works and how AI is impacting the way people search online. And I've been sharing that with the clients of Partout. And this is one of my key roles moving forward, is sharing everything I learn to all our clients and prospects around the world. So just before getting into this topic, I just want to make a quick intro on what Partout does today for our clients. So the first thing we help our clients with is visibility. So we have a product called Presence Management. So we basically update information of 350,000 stores across the world on GPS, like Google Maps, Waze, TomTom, here, Apple Maps, Facebook, Snapchat, and the others. This has a strong impact in local GEO, and we're going to talk about it today. The second thing that we do is store locator. Store locator is a key aspect of GEO. We'll talk also about that. And basically is the map that you can see on a retailer website with all the location that are showcased. And the third thing that we do is helping our clients with social media. So we help stores publish on Facebook, Instagram, Google Maps on their store locator. We also monitor the SEO and the GEO. We'll talk about it. So that's the blue aspects of our offer. And then we have the orange one, which is around interactions. So we manage public reviews on online platforms such as Google Maps, Facebook, or TripAdvisor. We help all clients manage their reputation, and we will see that reputation is a key aspect of your online presence on AI. We also manage the NPS, the surveys. So this is very important to better understand what your clients think about your brand. And we have a product on conversational commerce. You may have heard of AI commerce, agentic commerce. And this is basically centralizing all the messages from your website, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, SMS, and the others. And we also have a competitive intelligence product. If you want any more information on our product, you can directly contact us on our website. We are very reactive, and we'll organize a dedicated session to deep dive on those products, but that's not the topic of today's session together. Just to give you an idea, we do that for 1,300 brands across the world. So there are various industries. So the topic we're going to discuss today, they are basically it's a concern for every industry in the world and every company in the world. So this is very global topic, and that's why we're doing it in English. Let's jump in. So the first question that everybody's asking is the blue link era over? So for the past 30 years, the web has been structured around websites, around blue links. So that's what we called SERP, search engine result page. And those pages are structured with a lot of blue link that you can click to get to the website. And a lot of people are saying that today this era is over and the blue link era is done. So we're going to deep dive into this topic and try to understand why people will say that. So when you write something on ChatGPT or Gemini or any AI agents, what the AI agents will do is take your question and basically scrap websites to get the information relevant to your query and summarize all this information into carousel, into text, AI generated text to answer your questions. So this is basically how it works. And before we get into the precise how it works precisely, I would say you have to understand the big picture. So question, summary, and answer. And we also have to differentiate two worlds that we used to oppose. The worlds of search engines. So search engines are companies like Google, Bing, Yandex, Yahoo, and the others. And on the other side, you have companies like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude Code, Copilot, and the others. And those are what we call conversational chatbots. But a very strong conviction we have at Part2 is that those two worlds are converging. So you cannot oppose Google and ChatGPT because ChatGPT is including the web in its platform. So now you're asking a question to ChatGPT. ChatGPT will look in the web. And on the other end, Google with AI overviews is getting AI into its search results. So search engine integrating AI, chatbots integrating the web, that's creating only a one market that we call generative engines. And so the green that you can see on this slide and the blue are merging together, creating the purple world, which is generative engines. And before we get into the very technical aspects of this, it's very important that everybody is connected. More than 100 people are connected today. You understand that the very basic difference between SEO and GEO. So first, if we look at what it means, SEO means search engine optimization. So it's helping you better optimize your website so that it ranks higher in the search results. So here, it's your website that is important. SEO is search engine. Remember the color, it was blue. And it was Google, Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Bing, and the others. On the right, you have generative engine optimization. So search engine versus generative engine. Here we're talking about Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and the others. So it's very different way of interacting with the web. And here we don't rank websites, we mention brands. So the important for you is that your brand is mentioned in the text that is generated by AI to answer someone's query. Very important and very different aspects. So on the left, you want to rank. On the right, you want to be mentioned. And this is very important before we get into the technical aspects, that you understand the difference between SEO and GEO. And the technical stuff to improve your SEO and GEO are similar, but there are some differences that are due to the difference in the way it works. So that's it for the context. It took me 10 minutes to make everybody on the same page on this topic. If you want to take an hour to get deeper into what is SEO, what is GEO, why people are saying this is the end of websites, you can directly click on the link we'll send you. It's an hour in English, just explaining how it works. But that's not the topic of today, because today we're getting a bit more into how it precisely works. So this was only the intro, and let me deep dive into the topic of today, which is technical GEO. So the first term that is very important to define is search grounding. So search grounding, how do we define it? Search grounding is how, when you search something on the AI, how the AI is grounding on specific websites. So trying to get facts to answer to your question. So we will see how it works. Search grounding is a very important word. It means when you search for something, how does the AI make sure its answer is grounded, is true, and is based on facts? So if we take a big step back, it's important to understand how AI models are trained. So if you take GPT-5 or Mistral or Gemini, so basically we take a raw model and we go through what we call pre-training. So we give them an amount of information that is massive, that is basically all the web. Everything that is text and video in the web is given to the big model. So the model understands important things about companies, about facts, about the grammar, about the languages. And then it's fine-tuned, reinforced, and so on. So a foundation model, basically GPT or Gemini, is pre-trained on the web from a specific date. So for example, 2021. So it's trained and it knows everything that is to be known, but ended 2021. So that's how we call pre-training. And once you have trained your model, you cannot change the training, or you can change a bit, but basically it knows everything. And to know things that are new, it needs to go on the web. So pre-training, then it's done. And then you need to go on the web to have more information when you are a model. So let's take a very easy example. So I'm asking ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or Perplexity, how long does it take to boil an egg? So this is a question that has not changed between 2021 and today. So the AI agent is asking an AI just to know, is recent information needed? So is it news that I need to retrieve? If boiling an egg, the answer is not changing over time, the answer is no. So I can answer without having to check on the web, right? So it's pretty easy. The AI doesn't want to check on the web when it already knows the answer from its training. So make it very simple. A question, do I need to check on the web or can I answer directly? Here, very easy, I can answer directly. Let's take another question. What's partout? So in this question, partout can have changed, creating new products, creating new stuff, maybe has changed its purpose. So what the AI agent is doing when you ask what's partout is just checking on the web to have accurate and updated information. So in this case, the AI needs to go on the web because partout is different today than it was in 2021. And to do that, they scrap the web. And from the various sources they find on partout, they'll derive a summary. And this summary will be injected into the AI so that you can get your answer. So here, actual information and facts are needed to go online. And this is GEO. This is when an AI agent needs the web to answer the question that is asked. I'm not going to get into the technical stuff like RAG or embedding, but if you want to get very deeper into how all these things work, you can also follow these webinars, but just it's in French, so you make sure to have the captions added. So as we said, search grounding, it means connecting an AI agent to a search engine. So this is so the index, so that its response are grounded in existing websites. Now we're going to take a very simple example to try to explain how it works. So there are 8 steps for an AI to answer any question you might have. The first one is question. So it analyzes your question, then it reformulates the question, then it search online, then it selects the sources, then it breaks down the sources into components, then it score and filter them, then it injects the context, and then it generates the answer. So we're going to go by each of these steps to explain how it works. Let's take a very easy question. what is the best supermarket in Norwich for buying organic food? This is a question you might ask to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT takes your question and gives you a store, Norwich Farm Share. So you have the open hour, you have all the information about that store. And the question everybody's asking is why ChatGPT choose to showcase that store and not another. So that's what we going to get into. So the question, what is the best supermarket in Norwich for buying organic products? So the first thing the AI is going to do is try to understand the question. What is the intent? What are the entities? What is a person looking for? Is the person looking for shoes, or is it looking for supermarket? Is it looking for hairdresser? So it's going to identify entities and understand the intent. So that's the first step. Once it's done, the second thing that the AI will do is reformulate. So basically, you ask the question, what is the best supermarket in Norwich for buying organic products? The AI will create what we call a fan out. So this is very important, fan out. It creates branches, and each of these branches is a different way to frame the question you've asked. So organic supermarket opening hours, organic supermarkets in Norwich, organic supermarket reviews, best organic grocery store in Norwich. It acts the same way you will search online, typing different stuff to get your answers. So one question, 4 ways to reformulate. This is called a fan out. Then on each of the branch, in each of the reformulation, the AI will search the web. So it takes organic supermarket opening hours, this, and it put it in Google to get websites. So it gets several websites that you can see on the web, and then it's going to scrap the content of those websites to answer to the question of the users. So it does this 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, depending on the complexity of the question. So then it gets 100 websites, right? Because it has scrapped so many websites for your question that it has too many websites. So it needs to select the websites. So it will only store 20 websites out of the 100 that are selected. And to define those 20 websites, it will be based on the authority of the source. Is the content fresh under 13 weeks, for example? Is the topic covered? And does it give a diverse perspectives on the topic? So you can find in ChatGPT the sources that are used by AI to answer your questions. It's very easy. You click on sources below the answer, and there will be a panel on the right with all the sources. You can see here, so sources, visit East of England, Norwich Farm Share, bigbarn.co.uk, and so on and so forth. So on the right, you have the sources. And to make it simple, it's just that the AI is scrapping the sources to answer your question. By the way, if your brand is not mentioned in those websites, it means that you are invisible for the AI, because the AI is grounding its search based on those websites. So if you're not mentioned, you just don't exist. So now let's focus on a very interesting topic that is called GEO tracking. GEO tracking is a new, very important concept. It helps you understand the sources that are used by AI, as well as the business product it recommends. So if you are Adidas, you definitely want to know if your brand is recommended by ChatGPT when people are searching for shoes. So you may have heard of SEO tracking with companies like Ahrefs, SEMrush, SimilarWeb. All these companies, they used to track your SEO. So how well do you rank? Geo tracking is a different topic. And we usually recommend a company that is a French company that we really like. It's called Meteoria. And this company helps us do some studies on local geo. So local geo is geo for location, for stores. So now let's focus on local geo tracking. So in this example, I typed in French, I'm looking for a shop to buy something in that city. And I repeat the question many times, 10,000 times. So I asked the same question to ChatGPT. Find me a hairdresser in Nice. Find me a hairdresser in Brest. Find me a hairdresser in Paris. And there are so many times I ask the question and I get so many sources different that I'm able to understand what sources the AI is using to answer specific question. And here you can see the URL that ChatGPT is giving me back. So Magasin Darty, Magasin Electrodépôt, these are branded websites. And then on the third column, you can see the domain. That means that I'm simplifying the domain that is used to answer the question. Okay, so this is very simple. I ask question and I see where the AI gets the source. This is geo tracking because it will help me better understand where the AI is taking this information from to answer to clients. And then what we do is we take all these sources, so Darty, Electrodépôt, Leroy Merlin, Conforama, all these are branded companies, right? And we associate them to a top we categorize them basically. So these are store locator. You also have French directories. You have also specialized websites. So we are able to better understand on which websites the AI is retrieving the information to answer to people that ask questions about local stores. This is geo tracking. Understand the sources. So then we are able to understand the store locator. So this is a store locator. We've been talking about it. So right, you can see all the stores of Atoll, who is a optician network in France. And this is a source of information. Actually, we've done studies on various industries. So banking, supermarkets, real estate agencies, recruitment agencies, and many other industries. Each time we are able to ask questions like, where can I find a banking agency in Barcelona? Where can I find a banking agency in many places? And then we are able to categorize the websites that are used. So in banking, the AI, like ChatGPT or Perplexity, will use store locator 39% of time. In supermarket, it will use store locator 35% of time. Recruitment agency, store locator is 54%. And we are also able to analyze the brand rankings. So which are the supermarket brand that are mentioned by the AI? Carrefour, Intermarché, Super U, Auchan. These are supermarket chains in France. You have Lidl, you have Aldi. All these companies are cited by AI when you ask, can you find me a supermarket in Nice? Can you find me a supermarket in Brest? And the other. So we did that analysis for 20 industries, and there are big information that we can share today. So the idea here is really about geo tracking. So this is the topic. You can find all the studies we have done. They are in French, sorry again, but we can translate it for you if needed on this link. So you can basically download the white paper on your industry. It can be fast fashion, it can be real estate, it can be any industry you're with. And it's very important to understand that the sources used by AI varies depending on the industry. Each industry has different sources because the AI chooses different websites. So now that you understand how AI gets on the websites to answer to your questions, you need to understand another very interesting concept. So when the AI goes on the website, sometimes the text is very long. You know, people write very, very long articles, and the AI cannot read everything. It's time consuming and it costs a lot. So if you write an article, top 5 sustainable stores in Paris, for example, this very long text, the AI will not read all of it. And this is a bit technical, but very interesting. The AI will chunk it. So a chunk is a small part that we call, it's like a paragraph of the text. So the source is chunked into different text box. Here you can have, you can see exactly how it works. And the AI will not read all of it, but it will select the chunk, so the paragraph that are interesting for them. So if you write a 10-page article, and this article is used by the AI as a source, it's very important to understand that the AI doesn't read everything. It only reads 1 or 2 paragraphs, only 1 or 2. So your article must be very dense. And everything that is not selected from your article is not used at all. It's not visible. So if the AI takes an article where you are mentioned, but it doesn't read the paragraph where you are mentioned, you are invisible. So this is exactly how it works. And one for people that work in SEO, a very important topic is density is key to authority. So the important thing is that the paragraph that the AI is taking should be easy to understand without the context. So it must have a lot of information in it. It should not be diluted. We have a lot of problem on the internet right now is people are writing text through AI and the content is diluted, meaning that there is not a lot of information. So if I describe partout, you have a bad way to do it and a good way to do it. So the bad way is just to give a broad idea like partout is an innovating high-performance solution for improving visibility and customer relationship, save time, and so on. It doesn't mean a lot. But if we explain what partout does precisely, it's way more important for the AI because it has a lot of information. Local presence management software that enable business to update opening hours and store information on Google Maps and so on. So you see the difference. If an AI just get the information from a single paragraph, each paragraph you write must have a lot of information. So the question we are usually asked is how many sources or chunks are kept? So if you ask a very simple question like what is the capital of Australia, the chunk will not be very numerous. So it will be only 1 or 2 pages. If you ask a question, comparative question like what is the best shoes to run a marathon, you'll have 10 to 30 pages and 5 to 15 chunks that are actually injected. And if you ask a very complex question, then it can be more, the fan out and the branches will be way bigger. So then you remember we have the question, what is the best supermarket in Norwich for buying organic products? And here we have the chunk. So the chunk that you can see here are taken from the source, from the website we've discussed. So the AI will take the question plus the chunk and generate the response. Everything that is not in the chunk is not used by the AI. So if you are not in the chunk, you're invisible. So the key takeaways of this first presentation is it's very important for you to understand because then I give you the best practices based on the understanding of how it works. So everything happens upstream, so before, through orchestration. So the fan out, the reformulation, the selection, the chunking. And the search rendering is a system that decides which fragments of reality are allowed into the reasoning process. So now we're going in the second part of this webinar. What does this mean for GEO? So I'm going to share some best practices you can adopt for your business to be more visible in GEO. So we have had so many clients and prospects asking us the same question. How can I improve my GEO? How can I improve my local GEO? And we have framed a very simple framework that you can see here around 3 pillars. And it actually works for business that have location, but it also works for partout. It also works for a brand that has no stores. It works for every company. And actually, partout is using that framework to improve its GEO. So the first big idea that we'll get into is structured data. So your website information must be structured because AI is only reading the information of your website. So that's the first idea we'll get into. Then it's the omnipresence. The AI is going on many websites to check if you're mentioned. And in the end, you have only 20 websites that are stored to answer the question. So if you are not in this website, you are invisible. So you need to be everywhere. And the last point that is very important is social proof. Social proof is customer reviews, press coverage, everything people say about your brand is very important. let's go deeper into these three main topics. So structured data, let's try to explain. So back in SEO, a user would have a bit of money and he would go on Google, Yahoo, Bing, and these are search engine. So a search engine will take that user that goes on the internet and send it to a website. So you can see in the blue, you have the website user interface. And once the user arrives on the website, it can read the information of the web. So this is very simple to understand. A user goes on search engine, which goes on a website. But today, the paradigm is very different. You have a user that discusses with an AI, which can be Gemini, OpenAI, Perplexity, Copilot, and the AI agent is going on the website for the clients. And the user will not go to the website. It doesn't need to, because everything is in the chatbot. So the user, when you discuss with ChatGPT, you can ask questions, and the AI agent will go on the website to check if the answer he wants to say is right or not through the process we've explained. So in this new paradigm, user don't go on websites, and only AI agents will go on websites. So if you structure your websites, you must create a website that is adapted to AI robots. So on the left is what a user that is a human being would see on your website. So it's the subway website. So it's very interesting because you can see if I go on the subway website, there are colors, the green, the yellow, the call to action are in a specific place. You have photos, you have the reviews, and maybe if you displace the call to action in another place, you have more click. So you just basically refining the user experience, the user interface. All these are for human, but it's not useful for AI. When an AI arrives on your website, it doesn't see any design. It doesn't care where the button is. It doesn't care about the colors. The only thing the AI cares about is the data. So on the right is exactly what the AI can see of your website. And it's only data. And the data must be well structured because the AI doesn't know where to search. If an AI is searching for the open hour of a specific subway, the data that you can see here must be well structured so the AI can know where to find the open hours. You can see at the bottom of the slides, it's written open hour, week open hour, and you have the specific hours that are written. And we see some companies that they write text for the open hours. This is really bad. When you write a text to give open hours, this basically is not easy to understand for an AI because the AI is looking for schema, metadata. They need to understand your page. So what we're doing at part 2 is trying to structure your website so that it's easy for an AI to understand your website. So you remember we said that AI is using store locator to know which store to show first. So I'm looking for an optician, and the AI will basically go on Atoll and see the information of Atoll and push your information. So the first thing you need to do, if you have stores, if you have locations, is to improve your store locator because it's the basis on which ChatGPT answers to clients. And when we say improved store locator, it's not only about the structure of the information. It's not only about the metadata. It's also about the content. The more content you have, the more the AI will get your store and give it to someone that is searching on ChatGPT. So what do you need to do? You need to structure your information, but you need also to put your reviews on your store locator. You need to put more photos. You need to put your social posting. You need to put the brands you sell. You need to put the product you sell in each store. All this information will be used by AI to answer to specific questions that are asked in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot. So very easy to understand is if you want your stores to be the answer for questions on ChatGPT, you need structured data and a lot of data. And this is true for store locator. It's also true for product pages. It's also true for the website of Partout. So we're working also on that to have structured data. And we do a lot of studies. Remember, I was telling you that we are able to know where the AI is getting the source when they answer for questions that people are asking. So the studies we've done by industry, here is an example. So banking, for example, on the right, we've asked 10,000 times, where can I find a banking agency in Brest, in Toulouse, in Nice? And what we discovered is that the websites, store locator website of BNP Paribas, one of the bank in France, is 30% of the store locator that are scrapped. And we did that for several industries. And each time, the clients of Partout, for which we have built the store locator, are the store locator that are more scrapped by the AI. And you can see, if the AI goes on BNP Paribas website, it's not going to showcase competitors, because on the BNP Paribas store locator, you only have BNP Paribas agencies. So the point that is very important for any location business is to rebuild their store locator with accurate data, optimized data, and enriched data. And Matmut, AXA, Manpower, Superintérim, Giffard, Lafayette, they're all clients of Partout. And because we worked with them to improve their store locator, now the AI is scrapping more their websites. And other competitors, they are not scrapped enough. Because they are not scrapped, they are not showcased in AI LLMs. So that's a very important slide that we can deep dive if you need. If you can contact us for an audit of your store locator, you just write to us a message, and we'll have someone dedicated that will analyze how your website, how your store locator is structured, and we'll give you some recommendation so that you can improve it, or you can directly use our products. So we've talked about structured data. Now let's talk about omnipresence. So remember, if you ask a question to AI, so what is the best supermarket in Norwich for buying organic products? The AI will reformulate in different queries. So for example, organic supermarket opening hour. So this is called the fan out. And then it aggregates the results. So if you look at how it works, the more you are present, the more you are mentioned in various websites, the higher your chance that your brand is mentioned by the AI. Imagine I'm Andros, like I sell orange juice, and everywhere where people talk about orange juice, my brand is mentioned. I have more chance that when people are asking for the best orange juice in the world, my brand will surface. So the second very important idea that you need to implement is to be everywhere. So if you have stores, you need to be on all directories, Snapchat, TikTok, the different directories, TomTom, Apple Maps, and the other. But you also need to be present in the press. You need to be present in, I don't know, like all the websites that talked about topics that is related to you. And to give you one very important idea, in 2025, I was against press relation. I didn't want to pay for Partout to be showcased in the press. But in 2026, we have decided to invest in press relation. Why did we do that? It's because the AI sometimes go to read the press to answer to questions like, what is the best solution to manage reviews for retailers? And Partout needs to be present in various places. So now we're doing press relation, not only because it's about reputation, but because press is very important for GEO. So even at Partout, we are applying our own advice, our own best practices, because we want AI to recommend Partout when you ask for tools we provide. So the thing you can remember is the more your entity appears across different websites, the more likely it is to be referenced by AI. So the question people ask me often is, why are entities? And I think I learned what it was a few months ago, and it was a revelation. And I'm going to try to explain what entities are in a simple way as I understood it. So um, remember we said that the result page, the blue link, was about websites, and that GEO was about mention. So each time your brand is mentioned by AI, it's mentioned through entities. So an entity can be a brand, a place, a product, an organization, a person. Like many of a film, it can be a music, it can be any entity that AI understand as something that is very specific. So this is not very easy to understand. So I try to show you how it looks. So Carrefour is an entity, it's an organization. The CEO of Carrefour, Alexandre Bompard, is an entity. The school he went to is another entity. The place, like the stores of Carrefour, is an entity. The products that Carrefour sells is entity. So you understand? Maybe sometimes when you are on Wikipedia, you can click on various entities. So this is called technically a knowledge graph. A knowledge graph is how entities are interconnected. So maybe a film will have a pure producer, you have actors that have plays in this film, you have the date it was released, and every information is connected like a family, like, the sister, the brother, etc. So the information about each entity is derived from its connection with the other. So if I'm looking for organic food, I'll look for organizations that have stores that sell organic food. So the AI understand how it works. So your objective is that your store, your product are very well understood as entities. And each entity has attributes. So an attribute is something that is linked to an entity. So let's try to understand it with Carrefour. A Carrefour store has attributes. So the characteristic, does it make delivery? What are the news about Carrefour? What are the reviews about Carrefour? What are the photos about these stores? And the more attributes you have, the more you give information to AI, and the more likely you are to be showcased on specific queries. So if I'm Carrefour and I have many people that in the reviews say that I sell organic food, then Carrefour is going to be the answer when people are searching on Gemini, where can I buy organic food? So as a company and as marketing director, it's very important for you to try to create this framework, having more reviews, more photos, more actualities, more data about your store, about your product, about everything. So how does it work? So I already explained a bit. Someone is asking in ChatGPT, what is the best supermarket in Norwich for buying organic products? The AI will reformulate and try to find the entities that are mentioned the more, and that have the attributes that correspond to the search. So it's very, very simple how it works. And this is actually in the code of ChatGPT. So they have a tool that is called NER. It's called Name Entity Recognition. So this AI tool enabled ChatGPT to find the entity that answered to the question. So you can see here, entity, people, Elon Musk, and you have the description, Tesla, SpaceX CEO. Or you have the entity, company, Microsoft, software company. So this is the code of ChatGPT. And you can see that ChatGPT understands the entity. So I showed you the entity on Google side, but it works the same for ChatGPT. And when you ask a question, the AI understands which entity correspond to your question. So if I'm asking, who is the SpaceX CEO? ChatGPT is going to understand I'm looking for the entity that is the CEO of SpaceX, and it has a knowledge base, a knowledge graph that can answer to that question. And it works the same for products or stores. I really liked an article is really long, but really good. It's a French company that is called Resoneo, but the article is in English. It's very technical, and it actually explains a bit more what it is. And to prepare this webinar, I actually read dozens of articles and watched a lot of webinars. So here you have a very interesting article that I recommend if you're interested in understanding what knowledge graph is, what entities are, and so on. So if we try to summarize what we've said so far, so the AI model is no longer asking what website is the best. That's SEO. What website is the best? But it's different now. The AI is asking which entity is the most strongly established in, so this is GEO. So before it was websites and backlinks. Backlinks is when website point to your website. So SEO is website and backlinks, but GEO is entity and mention. So in the agentic web, a brand does not exist simply because it has a website, but because it is a clear, consistent entity that is validated by the wider ecosystem. So now, if you want to work on this topic, you should not focus only on link building, but also mention building, meaning you need to be mentioned everywhere. So this is where part two enter in the space. So basically, we help companies that have stores being present on various places so that your entity, your store entity, surface in more queries on AI. And for those who are asking the question, there are a lot of people asking where the information in the panel on ChatGPT comes from. So the information that is showcased on the left, so on ChatGPT panel, it directly comes from Google. So basically, OpenAI, who manage ChatGPT, is scrapping Google to update the open hours, the address. So if you want to do a test, you change your phone number on Google Maps, and it will change it on ChatGPT. So the ranking on ChatGPT is done through the whole process I explained. However, in the end, when it chose to showcase Franprix, for example, in this case, the attributes and the information about the open hours, the address, the photos are derived from Google. Okay, so that's also is interesting. So now we're going to talk about the last topic of this presentation is social proof. Social proof is interesting because the problem of AI is bias. So if I write on the website of Partout is the best company in the world, and I write it everywhere, then the AI is going to read it. And when we ask people, when people are asking ChatGPT or Gemini, who is the best company in the world, the AI will answer Partout. But that's not true because it's only written on my website. What the AI wants is unbiased content. That means content that is written by consumers, that is written by the press, written by individuals, not companies. So if you want to understand how social proof works, you have the online reviews, you have the blog on the forum, you have the social media, and you have the press. All these signals on the web can put your entity first. And that's why online reviews is getting more and more important, because AI wants to have unbiased information. So let's deep dive in this topic. First, a concept that is important to know is UGC. UGC stands for user generated content and is central to search grinding. So on the left, you have a study from SEMrush. So SEMrush used to be a SEO tracking tool, and now it's a GEO tracking tool. And you can see that the websites that are the more scrapped by AI are UGC platform: Reddit, LinkedIn, Wikipedia, Medium, YouTube, Forbes, Amazon, Apple. All these platforms is UGC, meaning they provide content that is generated by user. And why AI use those platforms is to avoid bias, because on Reddit, people just give their point of view, and there are a lot of different point of view, and this point of view can give unbiased content to AI. So another topic that I like is that generative engine are bringing UGC back into the picture. So social and search are coming together. Uh, in the past, Google will only index websites, and now they index Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Amazon, LinkedIn, and since the 10th of June, Instagram. So maybe when you were on holiday, you had a pop-up on your Instagram account saying that your public photo and video may soon appear in search result engine. Why is that? It's because search engine and generative engine want to get the more UGC they can to provide the best answer to clients, to users. So before I was posting a lot on LinkedIn and I was thinking, oh, I'm doing this for the community of LinkedIn. But now ChatGPT or even Google is using LinkedIn as a source of information. And that is also very important because now creating content on platforms is used by AI. And this you need to integrate into your strategy. In the US, it's wild. It's very different from what we have in France or Spain or Italy. In the US, the Google search pages are very different. They don't have websites anymore. On this very easy screenshot, you have products. If you're asking for products, then you have AI overviews, which is a summary of AI based on the website. So we already talked about it. And then you have UGC under the name What People Are Saying. So here I'm looking for a skincare product for my skin. And what I want is people telling me which skincare cream buy. And you can see there is Facebook, there is Instagram, there is YouTube. All these platforms are providing UGC to the AI so that the AI give me real advice, not biased content that is produced by L'Oreal or brands. I don't want to be to have L'Oreal telling me which cream to buy because I want people that use L'Oreal product to tell me that they're the best. And at Partout, we are seeing this through links Google is pushing between Google Maps and other platforms. So I don't know if you've noticed, but on Google Maps now, you can put your LinkedIn account, your Facebook account, your TikTok account, your YouTube account. Why is Google doing this? It's because they want to better understand the entity, the local entity we were talking about, because your company has Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and Google wants to connect all the dots. They want to connect all the social profile to understand what your story is about. Maybe on Google Maps, you just update the information, but you post on TikTok or Instagram your offer. Once you've connected Facebook, Instagram to your Google profile, Google will now understand what your news are, what your products are, even if you don't post it on Google and you only post it on Instagram. So social and search are coming together. So social platform, what we call UGC, they offer exactly what language model are looking for: real experience, natural language, and conflicting viewpoints. I'll try to give you a simple example to understand why SEO articles are less powerful than UGC content. On the left, you have a brand like Adidas or Nike or Oka that wrote a nice article saying the 5 best pair of shoes for running a marathon. So this is a nice SEO article. And by the way, it really performs in SEO. It's called a listicle. A listicle is a nice concept. So it's an article that takes the shape of a list. So the 5 best place to go if you want to hang out in Paris, or the 5 best software if you want to manage your reviews. So these are listicles. But it's not that good in GEO. The best thing in GEO is UGC content. So a guy saying, I tried 5 pair of shoes while training for a marathon. Here are my favorites and the ones I would not recommend. So this is very good because it has real life experience, human opinion, natural languages, conflicting viewpoints, first-hand content, someone that actually used the shoes. And on the left is different. It's brand content. It has bias. It's generic. It's SEO optimized. It's impersonal comparison. So what we call social proof, which was the third pillar of the framework that Part2 is recommending to its clients, is really thinking about your earned asset. So you have on one side what we call owned asset is your website, is your marketing and so on. And then you have earned asset is what people say about you. And at Part2, we also work a lot on this topic and reviews. So especially when it comes to agentic web, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I did a specific webinar on this topic if you're interested. Agentic web is the way people search for product, for example, on AI. And in this topic, the reviews and the social proof about products is very important. You can go see this webinar. We have the replay on YouTube, and we spend a lot of time preparing it, so feel free to look at it. And that's exactly how it works, agentic web. Now, I want to finish this presentation. We still have 4 minutes left, and you're still 100 people connected. Thank you so much for being still 100 people connected in English, even if it's not your natural language. The last topic, most important, is online reviews. Online reviews are very important for AI because it shapes how AI perceives your business. So if I asked Gemini to compare 2 opticians or 2 restaurants or 2 real estate places, the AI will actually retrieve the latest review, and you can see here, atmosphere, calm, consistent, care from the same advisor. It actually Gemini takes exactly the Google Maps reviews. So because it cannot compare 2 restaurants based on what the restaurants are saying about themselves. AI is using Google Maps reviews because AI is searching for unbiased content. So it's a very visual example. On the left is what AI is answering when I'm asking to compare 2 opticians. And this is in Europe, but in the US, it's even more interesting. Look on the right. So I want to go have lunch with my friends or have a dinner with my friends, and I don't know where to go. So I want to have some drinks with my friend. They like cocktail, and we are based in this area of Paris. Then the AI will suggest me 4 or 5 restaurants, and I can select the one I want to compare. So I'll take the first and the second. And then I can ask another question. Oh, I have a friend. He really likes desserts. So can you tell me which of the 2 restaurants has the best dessert? And the AI will search into the reviews to find all the mention of desserts in the restaurant. It's very interesting to see how powerful this is. It means that any of your reviews will influence the way people search for you and the perception of the AI. So Google Maps is getting the center of local GEO. And at Part2, we are launching a very interesting tool that analyzes all your reviews across all your stores and give you the strengths and the weaknesses with a synthesis of the strengths of the weaknesses, plus, of course, your average rating, your answer rate, the number of reviews. And you can have a very scan and the evolution of your reviews over time. And what we're also launching, and I think it will interest a lot of people, is the same thing for your competition. It means that we are able to scrap the reviews of all your competitors to know what are the average rating, what are the number of reviews, but we can also analyze with AI what are their strengths and their weaknesses and compare to you. So we are able to get all the reviews, for example, of Leroy Merlin or Carrefour, and analyze those reviews. And then we are able to compare those reviews with the competition and to give you very interesting insights how you compare and how you can improve. So we organize a lot of events around this topic. I think we're done today. I just want to tell you that you can reach out to us if you have questions on GEO, on local GEO, on reviews, on reputation. All the teams at Part2 are trained on those topics. So we are more than 350 people at Partout, and everybody is convinced that GEO is very important. And what we are building today is a team that is experts on this topic and that can help you better understand how it works. So we've done a lot of talks about GEO for specific clients. So if you're interested, you can ask your account executive or your customer success for more information. And sometimes we even do it at the client. So he was at Toyota with all the car dealers, and this was another company. And you can still follow us on LinkedIn and to get as much information as you can. So now we're gonna answer all the questions you've asked, and it's gonna be we're gonna take 20 minutes to do so. So let's go. All the questions are here. If you still have questions, you can also ask the question directly in the chat if needed. So the first question we have is, does it apply for product reviews? Yes, product reviews are very important. And I'm talking about product reviews, but mostly on Google Shopping, Amazon, on all the public platform. You need to work a lot on your product reviews and post it on your websites too. Another question was how the fan out or sources will be affected once advertising is activated within ChatGPT, and additionally, is that affected by the sponsored search? A very interesting question. The question is, will ads impact how GEO works? And the short answer is no. The AI will not change its process of GEO. The only thing you'll have is sponsored products within the generated text, and it will be flagged as generated as ads. It's like, ads doesn't change SEO. It's on top, so it's above. So it will be the same. It will be flagged as ads within ChatGPT or within Gemini or within Copilot, but it will not influence the way AI search for information. Otherwise, you can have a lot of problems. Like people will ask for who to vote, and you can basically influence the AI by paying, and it's not going to be very good for democracy, right? What about a service company where the HQ is not fundamental? Is Google Maps review still important? So that's a very interesting question. The question is Google Maps reviews always important in every business? And the answer is no. If your HQ is not a store, is not that important. I'm going to give you a very simple example. Partout. So, Partout, people will ask, is this company very good? Do they have the right products and so on? But at Partout, we've worked with Google Maps reviews for long because we believe like Google Maps was at the core of the reviews. But Partout is not a store. Partout is a software, and we don't provide experience in our building. We provide a software. So the reviews that are important for us are software reviews. And software reviews is on websites like Capterra or G2 that are specialized websites. So I would say that Google Maps reviews are always important, but are less important if you have a business that is a software, for example. So your HQ reviews are still very important, but maybe less important than your store's reviews. There was also a question about CSS class, but this one, I don't know. I cannot answer. It's a bit too technical for me, and I prefer not answering when I don't have the answer. We still have 70 people connected. Thank you so much. Do you have additional question, or are we good for today? I see some people writing. Again, it's always a bit hard in English. I hope it was interesting for you. It's always a pleasure to share those information with you. At Partout, we are very curious about all these things. Let's keep in touch and have a nice day, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any question. Bye-bye.